Hey, what's going on, Rob?
Hey, are we on?
We are on. We
We
are we
are
are
on.
live. We are
We are
live.
live. Yeah, a little. Paul and I we should just be upfront about this. Like, we
Yeah,
weren't sure if we should do the show. Feels weird to be trying to do anything funny or lighthearted, and I'm not sure that the show will really be that funny. I mean, we're not gonna intentionally
we're not going to
make a
tank the
super
show.
serious
Yeah,
show. But yeah, it's just another terrible, huge tragedy in the country, and we were sort of on the fence, like we shouldn't really do it, and then we thought, well, let's do the show, and we'll hopefully talk about it a little bit, and then hopefully do what we can to maybe raise a little bit of money and awareness.
yeah. We are raising money for the Stop AAPI Hate organization, and I just think for people who don't know what has been going on, not to kind of revel in it, but I think it's just take some moment to just kind of talk about, you know, obviously with the murders in Atlanta this week, we know that of the 8 people that were killed, 6 of them were Asian women, and they were in 3 Asian-owned businesses. And I think in the last year, we've just seen this spike of, uh, you know, hate incidents with the AAPI community. And there's a report that came out this week that over like 3,795 hate incidents have been recorded in the last year. And I just know personally, if I have family members and friends who have experienced like even like these microaggressions of verbal attacks in parking lots and in stores, and I feel like right now we're kind of becoming more and more aware of this and how we can help with this. And so that's why we are raising money for this organization that is taking that kind of head on. Yeah,
Can you
stop. Yeah.
see how do people contribute? I can't see the
Yes.
front facing
Yes.
part of the
So
show.
I am not incredibly great at integrating everything. I need like a little bit more time. So what we have done is, I believe,
People don't know that it's literally you just like, and obviously Molly helps you with a
the
ton of
best.
stuff too.
Yeah,
But
Molly's the best, but it sometimes it's a little bit out of
I
my
do
purview.
nothing. By the way, yeah, I do nothing. The worst.
I well, no,
I'm the worst.
we're all working together. I think the thing is, I'm trying to figure out how to get it appearing on screen. I think if you donate to Tiltify, which is where we're running our donations, a little star will pop up on the screen. I
Yeah.
tested that. I feel like that works. If not, we can just cut over to here. I have Tiltify up on another screen, and we can just take a look and see how much money we've raised. But we're just
Okay.
kind of raising some money and awareness right now because I think it's important to do, and there's so many great places and resources that you can find, and I think I was saying this last night to a friend. If you just use the hashtag AAPI, you can find people to follow, you can find resources to follow, because there's so many out there. Whether or not you want to help people specifically in Atlanta, if you want to help people across the country, which is what this organization is doing, if you want to help, migrant sex workers, there's all these. Red Canary Song is an amazing organization there too. So we will be raising money right now. Rob, I will say that the first donations have come in, and we are at $21 so far. So $21.
Great. I mean, and we will put money in there
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
We just put the Paul and I were
Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting it together.
the
We're gonna. We're
behind the
yeah.
scenes of this is it's all Paul doing this. I came in from wrestling with my 4-year-old, and
And you were beating
I
her too.
won.
Like,
I
yeah, yeah.
won. Yeah, she was trying to choke me, and I said, so I flipped her over, and I won. Like, I'm not gonna lose to a 4-year-old. No
We
way.
are already at $66. So thank you everybody. Already unknown anonymous donations are coming in here. This is great. We're at $66. The star is working on the screen. Things are happening. All right. So
Great. And we do
that
have
is
a great
yeah.
show. We
Yeah,
have a
we're
great
gonna have a great
show.
show.
Rich Sommer from Mad Men and a lot of other things is on the show.
By the
And
way, yeah.
our friend Julian Velard is on the
He's
show.
back on the show. We're going to be doing something very special with one of the members of our Discord. And we
Yeah.
have Shannon Woodward on the show, who you might know from The Last of Us Part 2, the most popular video game of all time, Westworld,
Whoa.
and Raising
Whoa.
Hope. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is going to be great. It's going to be a
It's
lot
gonna
of fun.
it's gonna be great. Yeah, we'll have a good show. Rich is gonna show and we should do this too. We'll dig something up. I'm obsessed with this thing that Rich did, and I don't want to give it away, but I teased it last week on the show. I used to do a show at UCB here in LA where I would have famous people come on and show the worst thing they've ever been in. And so it was fascinating. You see like early student films that people were in and shitty pilots that never went. And, it's obvious why. So Rich came on, Rich and Tom Lennon has this treasure trove of stuff because I think he's been acting since he was like a young teenager, and he has all these like shitty industrial videos like Say No to Drugs and like ColecoVision industrials and shit like that. So Tom has so much. We got to have him come on and show that stuff. But Rich is going to show like the worst thing he's ever been in, which is mind-blowing. He texted me today and he's like, I've shown this to you several times and it still makes me sick.
I was watching a little bit of it, getting ready for it. And I think maybe, tonight we're just going to keep it a little bit easy. By the way, Rob, we are at $200 raised.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Which is amazing in a couple of minutes. So thank you everybody for jumping in here and already donating so much money. I'm going to figure out how to thank everybody by name if you are not donating by anonymous.
Yeah. And I want to say too, Scheer, without getting like too, depressing about it, but like it is like weird. It feels weird to be doing a show like after 8 people have been murdered in our country. It's like you don't even know what to say about it. We all know and love Asian people in our lives. My wife is Asian. My child is Asian. Paul has Asian people in his family. I mean, like we all know and love Asian people. But it's one of those things where like I'm not breaking new ground here, but like this is just white supremacy. That's all this is white supremacy. And people push back on that and they go, well, he said it wasn't a hate crime. It is. It's a hate crime. Like he killed Asian people. Even if in his mind, this guy wasn't thinking like, oh, I hate Asian people. He was going into massage parlors and saw those women as expendable. I mean, he says he has a sex addiction. He's also, this is a whole other story. He's also part of the Southern Baptist Church, which there's a lot to unpack there as well, as far as like what they're teaching people about white supremacy and race and racism and also sex and shame. So there's a lot to unpack there. But if you go into a business and you kill people, it doesn't matter whether you hated that person or not. You saw that person as expendable. Anyway, again, I'm not breaking new ground here.
I appreciate you talking about it because I think it is something that is, as people in the chat are saying too, this is misogyny. I think there's something really interesting in reading and looking at this stuff too. The majority of the people attacked in the AAPI community are women. 68% of the complaints, the registered complaints. So if you think there's like 3,000 hate incidents, right? 3,795
almost 4,000, yeah.
And those are the ones
and those are reported.
That's what I was going to say.
Think how many like my wife on our street like keeps there's some guy that like keeps driving past every couple of weeks on our street and just flips my wife off because she's Asian. And like she said that to me a couple weeks ago and I was like, that's really fucked up. Happened again, same guy. I'm like, let's fucking find out who this motherfucker is. But there's nothing to report. Like that's just like a thing that she can't report that. There's no, so there's fuckloads of this shit. And it's just white supremacy. It's the same thing. The country was built on a system of white supremacy. It benefits white people. And I feel like you have to call that out. And again, I'm not breaking any new ground here. This is not a hot take on anything. I'm just saying that I feel like that's part of what I have to do. If people follow me and they hear that, and someone may go, "Oh yeah, I never thought about this before." A lot of people go, "Fuck you, man!" Like,
well, I think there's a very interesting point of view, right? Where it's like, well, it's not this; it's only this one person; it's only this one thing. But the truth is like, and that's true. One person does not define an entire race or anything, religion, anything at all. But
I was not,
but we can call out when you see something like this, and like, when you look at the definition of a hate crime, it's attacking somebody for, their sexual orientation, their race, it's very specific about what it is. And I think, these words are tough because we don't want to all be associated with it. But I think what we really are seeing is, oh my God, this pandemic, there's a rise in Asian hate incidents. But it's been going on before the pandemic. And that's the thing that I think that we've been seeing. We've been seeing this, literally been talking to all my friends and my family, since the internment camps in World War II. It's been subtly underneath the surface, and it's a great chance to talk about it. It's a great chance to look at it and see it and understand that these are words. And by the way, the words, it is a lot of words. And to protect our amazing women in the Asian community who are often stereotyped. And I think that's why they're often the focus of the targets of these, anti-Asian sentiments, because they are treated as less than. And that's incredibly disgusting. So.
For sure. And fetishized and and I'm sure these women working in these massage parlors in Atlanta. I mean, I lived in Atlanta for 3 years after college. I worked for a newspaper there called Creative Loafing, and I sold advertising to bars, restaurants, strip clubs, whoever would run an ad with me. And people, like, little places like this ran ads with me. These are little like massage parlors. And basically, those are like kind of like hand job places. They're like, those are like sex workers, that probably came here. Some of them were probably trafficked here. And say what you want about that. Say what you want about sex workers, whatever. They are human beings, and they're making a living. Really the only way that they can in this country. We don't have a system where you can just come here and like get a job waiting tables or whatever all the time. Like, sometimes people just have to do what they have to do.
Well, it's like,
a lot of those people don't want to be doing that job. They don't want to be doing that job. It's a job to survive. And so that may be a whole other discussion. People's feelings about sex workers or whatever.
But look, this is why I think like an organization like Red Canary Song, which is working in New York to decriminalize migrant sex workers and find some boundaries for them. And I think that, we do need to look at a lot of different things to fix this problem. And I think, and I think one of the ways that we can do it that's very simple is reaching out to our friends in this community, just simply checking in on them, being there. If you see something, say something, like all these little things, these microaggressions.
Call shit out, and like my wife and I were talking about this last night, because sometimes when people say racist shit, it's so jarring at first. And if you're not like ready to go with your retort or whatever, you kind of like are thrown off. Like, I want to tell this story, but I don't want to like go into it for too long. But basically, my wife and I were at a thing one time, and someone in this circle just sort of dropped some very casual racism. And this was someone that I knew. My wife didn't know this person, and I was just like floored, and I didn't have it ready to go, so I didn't say anything. And it was like a friend of our family's, and it was it was at my dad's funeral. So it was just like, I was just like not at all expecting this like very casual thing. So my point is, like, my wife and I were talking about this last night, and she's still fucking pissed about it. And she has every right to be. And I am too, because the way I handled it, and by the way I just sort of like let this comment slide. And we've all been in that situation where someone says something fucked up. You may or may not know them, and you're just like, you're not always ready to go with your fucking thing of just calling it out. And so I regret that. And, I think you just have to sort of be ready. Ready to call shit out. And I'm talking to myself.
But I got to say this too. Like, thank you for the chat kind of coming along with us in this conversation.
We won't talk about this forever, guys. We're just, we're in the middle of this. So.
Yeah. My brother-in-law is Chinese, and he got into a little bit of a fender bender, and they were negotiating the issue. My brother-in-law is an incredibly smart guy, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, right? And he was looking at an issue and had a point of view on the issue. And when he challenged the person that he was in the accident with, the guy looked at him and said, "Hey, in this country, that's not how we do things."
Yeah.
And he was telling me how taken aback he was. Like, he didn't even know what to say. Like, you know, because it's so jarring. It's like, well, I am from this country. Like, I'm born and raised here, you know. And we're not superhumans, right? We are not like, but I think what we have to do is like be careful of things. I was on a text chain today with a bunch of friends talking about Entourage. If you look at the amount of racist stuff said well, that character is incredibly rude, you know, the Jeremy Piven character, all the stuff that he said to Lloyd on that show, you know, under the guise of like, it is a joke that we're making, but it's also like we're aware of the joke. It's still the joke. It still pushes forward those stereotypes. And I you know, working on Fresh Off the Boat and seeing all that sort of stuff as well, it's very tricky because I think, as someone was saying in the chat, it's so ingrained in a sense of humor. You know, I feel like every stand-up special I watched when I was a kid, it was about Asian drivers and Asian people with cameras. And so it's, you know, but it's important to step in, talk, speak up, and protect the people around us.
Yeah. And the, you know, I'm very, aware of the fact that when I talk about this stuff, like I don't feel like I have the right words or the tools and the right vocabulary to talk about it in a way that is adding something that is better and enlightening or illuminating at all. So sometimes I hesitate to talk about it, but I'm past the point of fuck it. I don't care about that anymore. I don't care that my point's better than your point. My point's going to crush you. I don't care about that. I'm just trying to, as I think we all should, just talk about this. Just talk about it. Like, that's all I'm saying that we, and I'm really talking to myself because I feel like most people that are watching this, if you're on board at this point, if you're watching this show at this point, you're probably agreeing with us. And also it's a whole other conversation, but like, you can't convince anyone of anything on the fucking internet, on Twitter, on Instagram, on anything. There's no point, but I just,
it's a place for dialogue and
talk about all of this so I can get better at talking about it, and whether or not it resonates with people, I don't fucking care. I really don't care. Like, I don't care. You know, I know what I think. I know who I am. I know who I love. And, you know, I just want to get better at being able to talk about this.
We have had this last year where we've been forced to look at certain things. I think because the world has slowed down, or at least this country has slowed down, right? So we can examine things a little bit more, and we can look at things and really see what our response is. And we are evolving. We're trying to grow. And I think at the end of this, if you're going to strip everything away, it's, can we just start to look at people and treat them equally? Not to say that, I'm not saying be colorblind. I don't think that, but it's equal. Like equal.
It's
like
just equal. That's all it is. Black, white, Asian, Native American, gay, straight, trans, whatever, everything should just be equal. That's all people want. That's all of this is about. The people that are, you know, saying like, whoa, fucking posting on Instagram. Like, I know posting on Instagram is lame.
Well,
like, I know it's just like, but you kind of, you want to show that you're an ally. You want to show that you're supporting.
Here's what's lame. Posting on Instagram, posting on Twitter, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you like, all right, so here's the least you can do. The least you can do is post. At least you're amplifying a message. All right. The second least thing you can do is post and donate some money if you have it, right? And then the third, and then it starts to build. But anything is a good thing. And there are certain people who just want to post the meme and post the thing. And I think that the internet is very good at like making it. Today we're all posting this, but why are you posting that? What are you actually saying? What are you actually doing? What is the commitment that you're making when you do that? And I said to my friend last night, I was like, at worst, follow a handful of people that represent a voice different than yours.
Yeah.
You know, follow some AAPI women to hear the stories firsthand. Follow some organizations. Just get it inside your skin. If that's the least.
Them. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, And we're getting there. I'm upset. I know you're upset. I am happy to be here tonight to talk.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
do all
I mean,
that
that's the
stuff.
thing. I mean, we were talking about this. It's like I also value what we're doing. I value this little community that we have. I think it's super fun and a fun place to goof around. And I love everybody's feedback. And I'm sick of letting white supremacists like control what we
Misogyny,
do.
white supremacy, and I think we have to look at the roots of where it comes from the fact that there are Walt Disney cartoons, Superman comic books with offensive words, and that resonates. If you grew up watching that stuff, I remember I took a class on propaganda, and you would see like, oh, if I grew up with that, if I'm learning about Superman, fighting a culture, how could that not affect me, right? Like, you know what, we're solely learning how to deprogram some of these stereotypes. We're learning that, and I think you and I have a responsibility as we create things to create well-rounded, not stereotypical characters, and hear those voices, get those voices into the mainstream. I know that as I've been watching,
and also hiring people. I mean, I know that shows you've run and shows I've run, you hope to do a better job at like, okay, I need to make sure that I hire people that the writer's room is diverse, the actors are diverse, the crew is diverse, like all of that. I think
that the thing that I've noticed the most, one of the things that has brought this all home, because obviously the last year, we've been looking at Black Lives Matter. Now we're looking at Stop AAPI Hate, and we're looking at trans rights. We're looking at so many big issues, and I realize when I want to show my kids stuff that I grew up on, the lack of any diversity. You can literally, look at things and it's shocking how few people of color are in it, how few different points of view are. And then I watched this new Michelle Obama show last night on Netflix, that waffles and mochi, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is like, and in the sense of like, it's just a more well-rounded picture, and there's no calling attention to it. It's just creating a well-rounded picture, and I'm proud of the world that my kids are going to grow up in, and we're going to continue to have that conversation. And by the way, Rob, we're already over $1,000 here.
That's
we have
so awesome.
$1,166.
Oh fuck, that's so cool, you guys.
It's amazing.
That's so fucking cool.
I just want
and I mean, the last thing I would say about this is like, we're just two guys that are comedians, and like we're not going to fix this. There is no quick fix for this. This is just a process. This is a lifelong process for everyone to be aware of, and to be thinking of, and to be monitoring yourself. Just be active thinking about this.
Being an ally doesn't cost anything. We all have Asian friends. We all have we all have people of color. By the way, that covers everything, really. We all have people of color in our life, and if you are a white person, and you also have people who have different religions and sexualities, and like, so just be an ally. Remember that anything could be happening to your friends, and that I think we have to be in that mindset. This is happening to my friend. This is happening to my neighbor. This is happening to this. I want to give a big shout out to Jeff, the librarian, who started with us at UCB in the original Crash Test, came over to Largo with us. He donated $500 tonight.
What?
$500.
Jeff the librarian.
Thank you, buddy.
I need to become a librarian, because that guy is rolling in cash.
Jeff,
that's awesome, dude. Thank you
money.
so much, Jeff. Fuck, man, that's super cool.
Well,
I know exactly who Jeff is.
I love Jeff,
we should
we'll get
on
into
our
it.
first person, right?
Yes. So thank you. We'll probably, maybe we'll touch on it in a little bit too, but we just wanted to kind of,
Shannon is stepping into.
I know. We'll bring her in, and it'll be great. Shannon, what is going on?
What's going on, guys?
Did you like the way we set you up? We set you up with such good comedy.
Yeah, it's just like I had all these jokes written down, and now they are all really, really not appropriate.
Oh no, no.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I'm frozen. It looks like my internet is slowed down again. But that's all right.
I thought maybe you ate something really weird.
But you're seeing it, which would be odd. So that would be on you. By the way, Shannon, I like your new setup. I haven't really checked it out there. They got the lights. I got some lights over here too.
Thanks. I mean, there's usually some more stuff, but like I go now between like Zoom meetings for like acting where I'm like, take it all out. It's gotta be nothing here. And then like what I actually usually use it for, which is like playing games and streaming and stuff. So it's like right now it's in a half position.
By the way, many people in the chat were very excited that you're here because they just finished The Last of Us Part 2, which has been, I mean, we haven't really even talked about this because I think right when the quarantine started, it was like, it was on the verge of getting ready to be released. And now it has been out. Like, what has that been like for you? Because I almost feel like more people played it because of the last year in a way, like this quarantine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I think like, you know, everybody, especially it came out in June. So, I mean, people were really kind of settled. We were really, really at home. Like there wasn't anything open. Nobody was doing anything. Nothing was in production. So like, especially the weirder thing is that like everybody in Hollywood was playing it. Right. Which was really weird. Like so I would get like emails from like studio people where you're like, you would not have time to be doing this otherwise. Like, so it was like a really weird thing that suddenly like the game was always going to be really special and exciting. But like, it was weird because everybody was just at home. So like everybody played it like that week. It was like being in a Marvel movie or something.
I was going to say, you know what I mean? You literally were in a giant film that everyone feels invested in because they were like more a part of it than anything that you can like a movie. You can always be, oh, I loved it. It was great. But you are literally, you feel like we had somebody was making the joke on the show at one point. Like when I see the credits roll on video games, I want to be thanked. Because I feel like I did something. I created the motion.
You made those narrative decisions. You chose it yourself. I always kind of just like I describe this when I'm talking about it, like kind of similar to how like magicians kind of make you feel like you chose a card, but you didn't. You know, but you really think you did. You're like, no. I mean, he gave me options and I picked it. That like video games, I think when they're done well, like with narrative choices, they do the same thing where you're like, oh yeah, I mean, I made that mistake. I made that controversial decision to like, but you kind of you were really led down that. You know what I mean?
I killed that main character. My choice made that main character die.
Yeah,
I did that.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm just such a fan of that game in the first place. So it was really fun for me, and like, it was exciting for people to finally play it because we've been working on it for like 4 years, and it's so secretive that it's like it was fun to finally be able to talk to people about it.
You and Rob both have video game experience now. I'm the only one who does not. Rob, are you unfrozen yet, Rob, or no?
I think I'm still frozen, but I can hear you guys. And
he just put a picture up for my interview.
I have to go make dinner. I did NBA 2K19, and that was super fun. Like I don't know what your experience was like. I went and did like up to Northern California into like a big warehouse, and you put on the mocap suit and run around, and I thought it was super fun. It's like because there's so many cameras that for people that don't know, like the way they do it. There's no, like, there wasn't any cutting. It was just sort of like they had sort of like vague spots where furniture would go, or you would walk around, they would be like, okay, well, like in my thing, like, okay, the locker room is going to be here and the bus is going to be here. So you guys come out of the locker room and get on the bus. And so you're just sort of walking around like boxes and stuff. And, but yeah, I thought it was super fun. And like, you're just, it was sort of like being in a play that you just do like over and over and over. And they also like in my thing, they let us improvise a lot because, well, I was also like kind of a weirdo, shitty basketball coach. It was just like yelling at my team and stuff. So they kind of just like let me be a weirdo, But but I think all that stuff is so fun. I left there and I was like, oh, I just want to do this. I just want to do like video games.
I mean, I had a similar experience. I mean, there are a lot of things that I like about doing games. I didn't have to be vain at all. It wasn't even it moves and talks and all of the facial structure, like the muscle structure is all me. But then like, it's a combination between me and a face model that they got. So it like it's like not her and it's not me, but it's like a meld of like, if you stretch someone else's face onto my actual bone structure, like it's so crazy. But like, and then the cameras like are so far away except for on our faces that like when I was doing these scenes with this other actress, Ashley Johnson, who's the lead of the game, I felt like we were alone. Like there wasn't like a focus puller scratching his balls right next to me. Like not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's a lot of energy goes to cognitive dissonance, and the suspension of disbelief for myself that like it kind of made my job a lot easier in a lot of ways. I mean, sure, I was getting Velcro stuck to her all the time, but like, I really like. We also did that for 5 years, and it was a world I already loved.
Wait, it was 5 years. Holy cow.
So like we would do like a week every month or few months, depending on because Ashley was working on a TV show that's in New York. So, but yeah, it was like over 5 years between like really when they hired me and when the game came out, and so we shot for like 3, and then there was like a year every couple weeks a session in like a sound stage, or I mean in the sound booth. So
that is awesome.
So cool.
I love it. I mean, and I'm always fascinated by it. We were talking tonight, like Rob and I were thinking, because Rob used to do this show called The Shit Show, and we were talking about maybe tonight celebrating some of the things that we're not super proud of, like the things that are out there in the world.
You got my email, right?
I did. I have it.
Because I did not know that this was on the internet until you said something today, until you said like, what's something bad. Now, I did a lot of stuff as a kid. Like, I wasn't I was not talented.
How old were you when you came to LA?
I was 15, but in this, what I'm sending you, I think I'm about 11.
Okay.
And it's a TV movie. Should I wait?
Let's talk. I want because I also just want to hear your story about this too, because I'm always fascinated because your parents, like we talked about this before, like how you kind of came up. I love these stories of getting into Hollywood and like that scene that you're in as a kid, and there's so much want for you, but it's also such a competitive, cutthroat moment.
Yeah,
I think
when I was really young, when I first started, my parents were like, they didn't want me to do this at all. And, right. and they didn't let me come to LA or anything until I was like, I kind of just like fucked off and came on my own. So that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But I remember I kept saying I wanted to be an actor, and we lived in Boca Raton, Florida at the time. And there was like a little like children's theater where they did like classes and like kind of really like silly campy plays.
Right.
And, I, auditioned to be in a play, and my parents were like, okay, you can be in the play. I started taking like little acting classes there, and I was in a play, and then somebody from Nickelodeon saw me in the play and asked
scouted
somebody if I wanted to pre-audition for a pilot for Nickelodeon. So it was like to audition for somebody who wasn't the casting director first, which in hindsight sounds very sketchy. It wasn't though. And I did audition for her, and the woman, luckily for me, comes out to tell my mom. She was like, I mean, she's really good. I was not good, by the way, but I think I was better than she expected me to be. So they let me go audition. My parents then are like, oh my God, we're going to let her go actually audition for a TV show. And my dad was like, listen, we're going to let you do this, but only because I want you to shut up about it. You have to just see that you're going to fail. Because like I did, and I got the job. And then the Nickelodeon calls my parents to say, like, she got the pilot. She doesn't have an agent or anything. And they were like, well, she's in Minnesota visiting her family right now. So you're going to have to call her and tell her yourself. And my parents then called me, and they basically try to dissuade me. My mom tells me I'll never go to another birthday party again.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'll be working.
Yeah, right.
They start, and so the head of the network calls me, or the head of casting, or whoever it is. It was somebody like, and they're like, well, you got it. And I was like, they're like, but you need to get back on a plane. Like, we need you to come back to Florida. And I was like, here's the thing. I'm playing with my cousin's rat right now. I swear to God. I remember it vividly. But I was like, I don't really want to put the rat down. And they were like, and I was like, and my mom said I wouldn't be able to go to birthday parties anymore. And that they were like, I mean, I can't tell you that's not true, but like, and I was like, yeah, I think maybe I'm just not going to come. And they were like, okay. And they called back again, and they're like, are you sure?
Right.
And I was like but here's the thing. It's so weird because in hindsight, like I wanted to do that. I think I could tell my mother really didn't want me to. And so I said no. And
But you also have the kid brain, which is like
I was
you
a
didn't
kid,
like as if they would have sucked you out of the house in that moment, like to get on a
so
plane.
weird.
Like you
I
could
know,
have continued to play with the rat for a few minutes.
It's so crazy though, because like I remember it so well, and I know I didn't really think that, but I don't know why I did it anyway. But so then they called like 6 months later. They were like, "What if it was something with less commitment? Like, would you like guest star on a show?" And I was like, "Sure." So then they let me audition for something else.
Do you remember the show that you got? Do you or is
Yeah,
that
Clarence Explains It All. That's on the internet.
Whoa!
But that's not embarrassing.
But
That
that's
was my
amazing.
first job.
That's a huge
That's a good
job.
one. Yeah,
that's a great one.
It was just one episode. I did another one later, but
I love that they're negotiating with a child. Like,
truly. And my parents are
room full of adults.
sabotaging them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, by the way, Rob and I had one of the most disturbing experiences with a child actor. Rob, I'll tell the story if you chime in on this because
Haunted clothes. I call them haunted clothes.
we dealt with some haunted clothes. So we were doing a sketch on Human Giant, and the premise of the sketch was there's a little girl selling lemonade, and I would go up and I bought a glass of lemonade, and I was like, wow, this is like really good. And she's like, oh, thank you. And then I come back the next day, I'm like, can I have some more? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, actually 4 glasses. And then she's like, okay. And I pay her. And the next day I'm like, I need 2 vats. And she's like, okay. And then basically I buy her lemonade stand and have her start working for me because her lemonade is so good. And then when she's slowing down production, I take her, I'm getting rich. I take her dog out of my limousine. I have this giant syringe and I inject the dog with something from the syringe and the dog dies in my hands. And she's supposed to be like, no, and then start working harder. And the sketch gets progressively crazier and crazier. Like I start like my own Jamba Juice while she's like just in tattered rags, just working day and night. So we had to bring in the kid and we wanted to see them be very cute and then also react to the death of their dog. So we did the death of the dog scene, and the girl was like,
this one never.
This is I'm already like, oh god.
Yeah, I think we looked at this one.
Oh yeah, the sketch never aired. So we were auditioning all the kids, and this one girl was really really good, and we were like, oh great, and we did the death of the dog scene, and she just didn't bring it. No, but she didn't she was so good, but it was like so weird that she was so kind of cut off from it. And like we go outside and we talk to her parents. We're like, hey, we love her. Can we just see if she can, maybe work on that sequence with her a little bit and see what she can do? And they're like, absolutely. And so she comes back inside and we start doing the audition. And as she starts doing the lines, just shaking and then tears, crying, tears. And we are very much on top. We're
broke it.
We were like, oh my gosh. And we're like, well, what's going on? And she was like, my dad told me to think about my dog that died, and he died, and he was really sick, and he had weird patches of fur on his skin, and we had to put him to sleep. And so like this father is like traumatizing his kid, so she would cry and on command. And in that moment, I was like, I felt like we broke somebody. Like I was like, I don't want to do that. Like it's like kids don't know how to generate tears. Maybe some amazing child actors do, but I felt like I couldn't put a kid through that. Yeah,
child turned out to be Meryl Streep,
and that's the positive spin.
And you know what? She's not that good.
She's not that good. She's overrated. Yeah,
it's funny because I was not very good as a kid, which I'm very excited for you to see how I'm not very good.
Oh, I want to see this. Yeah, let's show this.
Oh, it's funny.
Okay,
but anyway, eventually I ended up I got an agent, did little jobs, and this is one of the ones in the middle. So I was allowed to my parents let me have a local agent wherever we lived, and because we moved a lot. At this point, where we were going to see, we were living in Austin, Texas. My dad worked for IBM, so we lived places where there were IBMs.
Okay.
And so this is a movie that was a TV movie. It's called Tornado! !
Wow!
And it came out the same year as the movie Twister, and there was a lawsuit that this guy sued the guy. Like it was a whole thing that somebody stole his idea. Anyway, so you'll see. I am one of the children. I am weirdly very tan, and it's just about a minute and a half. This is the opening of the movie. I'm just in the cold open. So
okay, here we go.
That's me with my back to the camera.
Yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, my turn.
We interrupt our regular programming to inform you that the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for Oldham and Palmer counties. Residents in these areas are urged to take proper precautions. We now return you to our regular programming.
Oh, all right. Very, very. Mom took that information in stride.
Doesn't seem good.
Uh-oh. This is amazing.
Just wait.
Where are you going? I'll be right back.
Where are you going?
It's not supposed to be here.
Whoa.
Baby's first close-up.
Wow, that's a good one.
This is my favorite part. Just wait.
All right. This is amazing.
Watch, I'm gonna touch the furniture. It looks like I just woke up.
That is.
That's it.
Oh man, that
Sorry,
is
Bruce
Bruce Campbell. Wow, that was worth it. But by the way, you walked out of that house is like you walked out of a house that is the way that cartoon houses break down. Like, but you did able to get out
I
the
know.
front.
Was that
Wow.
super fun? Like when you're a little kid, is that super fun?
I mean, I was really excited about it. It's I was like, I'm in a movie right now. But I mean, I always liked acting. I mean, it definitely, like, my parents didn't want me to do this. I was very excited about it.
I mean, that is a great I mean, that kind of stuff. I feel like what is bad for new people coming up is your stuff will always live on. And I feel like, Rob and I have found this thing that we did called Cat TV or Meow TV. Sometimes this stuff exists, but like there must be some pride that you could easily find this by typing in tornado full movie.
I mean, I found there's another one that I was gonna show you too, because I did like 3 TV movies as a kid. There's another one. It's called Family Reunion: A Relative Nightmare, and it stars Melissa Joan Hart and like half the cast of Laugh-In. It's so random.
Oh my God.
But it's so grainy and it's just like really
Right.
hard that I was gonna send you that, and then I was like, wait a second, I wonder if Tornado exclamation point is on.
Tornado
and
exclamation point. Quality stuff. Oh my
The
gosh.
best.
Shannon, this is so great. And by the way, Shannon and I are in a movie that comes out tomorrow on VOD and then in theaters. It's called Happily, which I don't even think we should tell anybody about it because I've been reading a lot of the reviews, which have been incredibly positive and great. But it's like a Twilight Zone episode. So the less you know, the more you'll enjoy it. But basically, Joel McHale and Carrie Bechet play a couple that all their couple friends hate because they're just too much in love, and then they go on a couple's vacation with us, and Shannon and I are two of the couples. We're not the same couple, but we are two of the couples in that vacation.
Is there a
house.
tornado in the movie?
Unfortunately, yes.
And we actually recreated that exact scene. I mean, all the big dialogue comes out as the tornado is passing overhead.
I just run through the house screaming the whole time.
I like to think of it like this. Just for those of people who are fans of Black AF on Netflix, think of it as that they Airbnb'd their house and we stayed there for 1 weekend because it is the same house from Black AF. So yeah, it is a crazy house that had no heat. But yeah, so definitely check out Happily this weekend. And Shannon, it's been so great to check in and see you. And
Good to see you.
yeah,
Good to
this
see
is
you,
awesome.
and thanks for sharing tornado exclamation point.
Anytime,
Oh my
the more the merrier. Thanks for having me, guys.
God. Oh,
See
good.
you later,
Yeah, good
Shannon.
to see you.
Bye. Boom.
I love tornado exclamation point.
I love it too. By the way, Rob, we're at $1,291. I want to give some shout outs
Holy
here
shit.
to
That's awesome.
Maha Cat and Ellie, who gave $75. Maha Cat gave $60. We have a bunch of anonymouses, so thank you, anonymous. Mora gave $50. We have Thoner99 gave 40. So many people just donating, and this every little bit helps. So this is really, really awesome. So thank you, everybody.
Very cool, man. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for doing that.
We have I mean, if we want to just keep on rolling, our second guest is here.
Yeah.
You know, because I know he has a tight time constraint too. So, all right, you want to set him up? You can set him up, and I'll bring him in.
Yeah. Rich Sommer is a good buddy of ours, who you may know from Mad Men. Please welcome Rich Sommer.
Boom, Rich.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
I'm good. My internet's not good for some reason, but that's all right.
Whenever a third person joins, Rob freezes.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Someone
it's out
in
of
the
a
chat
sign
said
of.
it's my green screen. Someone said my green screen's fucking it up. I don't know if
Oh.
that's true or not.
Want to just show your murder garage?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could just show my murder. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'll do it.
No,
later.
I hear
There's
you.
too many. There's a lot of.
Oh,
bodies.
okay.
Buddy, I haven't seen you in so long. How have you been doing?
Pretty well. You know, been in my
Yeah?
house for just over a year, but other than that,
Oh my
I'm
God.
good.
Did
Yeah,
you
other
enjoy
than-
it? Like, I will tell you, I'm having some anxiety about leaving. Like, there was a point in this pandemic where I was like, oh, well, I wouldn't do to go to a movie theater or go to a bar or have dinner out. And now the thought of that seems burdensome. Like, I went all the way the other side. Like, I'm not like missing it anymore. Like, it's almost like once I started the diet, I don't crave it. But I also think it's probably just out of fear, just dread of being around people.
100%. I mean, for me, 100% it's fear. But I share that feeling. I'm nervous a little bit about reintegrating into total stranger society, because I've only seen my family and then the people sort of closest to me here. I've seen none of my family beyond the family in my house, and then I've seen maybe 5 friends, sitting across my patio at varying times throughout this year, and that's it. So I'm a little nervous about it too, but I'm and I'll admit I have maybe some Stockholm syndrome in the way that I've genuinely enjoy. I often am out of town a lot, and so getting to be in town with my kids and my wife has been nice. So while
my son
fully recognize I've had it easy, I want to be clear on that.
Yes,
this has been a different type of year for me than a lot of people. So
absolutely, I will say that my kid said something to me last night, and it made me all like, he said at the exact wrong time, because as things are starting to reopen, he said to me, he's like, Dad, I just love that we have dinner every night together. And it was like, and I was like, oh no, like I just started working again. I'm like, no, not now. Like, you should be saying, like, I'm sick of having dinner with you, Dad. Like, he was looking back longingly on the year, and I was like, all right, how to do
But Rich, something you said also like resonates with me, that like I have lost all ability to make casual conversation with people, and I've fully recognized it. And I also know that wearing the mask all the time, I've gotten used to not performing for, when you see like someone, hey, how are you? Like now I just like, I don't fucking give a shit, And so it's going to be really weird going back to seeing people. Like, everyone's going to feel like an asshole, I think, for a long time, because no one has those pleasantries that we evolved to and learned about. And I just don't have those skills anymore.
Well,
I'm deeply out of practice.
Yeah. And I feel like I've also been making a lot of mistakes in the mask work. Like, I will aggressively say hello to somebody because I think, that's what I recognize. And then I'm like, that wasn't them. And then I try to play it off, but I think they're not even sure if I'm talking to them, because there's a lot going on. Like, I was so excited to see this person the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, Diane, how are you? We're talking. And then like a couple minutes passed, and she's like, oh my gosh, I did not realize that was you. Like, but we were having a conversation because she was like, okay, clearly I'm getting some energy here, so let's figure it all out. And
Yeah.
not.
I'm so bad. I saw the Sklar's, Jason and Randy, in a random part of town. I know it was
Together?
them. Yeah, together. And they were like on their phones, like texting somebody. And like I had every opportunity to go up and say hello, but I don't have it. I don't have the, like, what if they're funny and I can't think of, well, what would I say after that? So I just didn't even say anything. And I emailed Jason later. I was like, hey, I think I saw you, in this part of town. And he's like, oh yeah, that was us. Why didn't you say hi? I'm like, because I can't say hi to people.
I think what's so nice, the opportunity that you have now is to do exactly what you did, which you won't always have, which you have this, it gives you that level of anonymity with people that that you can go, oh shit, that's the Sklar's, and I cannot hang right now. Like I just don't
duck
have it.
out.
I'm gonna dip this which doesn't work in a maskless society. So I have fully embraced the mask.
The mask is a great, like, I enjoy wearing my mask now for certain parts of the day, but you're so ingrained in that people can see your expression too. Like, even the lack of a smile is like tricky because are you angry at me? Or are you doing it like you can't do bits effectively because it's like, oh, I think they're mad. Or but I remember I was waving to somebody so like happily, and I was on the street. They were driving their car, and I was like, of course they have no idea who this is. It's they're in a car. I'm on the street. I'm wearing a hat and a mask.
Right.
Like I'm just looking through a peephole in like a
three identifiable pixels available to them, and that's it.
It's like a AOL download from back in the day.
Rich, are you? Do I remember correctly that you are a big gamesman? Do you play a lot of board games?
I do enjoy board games. Yes.
Okay. So
Rich opened me to the board game world. It's amazing.
Was there a period of the quarantine where you were like, yeah, like I'm just gonna fucking do this for 6 months or a year?
No, it's been devastating because it's such a social activity. So I have a standing game night with some friends that are other places in the country that almost every week we've gotten online to play, whether it's through an iOS app of a board game or we've found other little board game adaptations. But other than that, I haven't, it's actually been kind of tricky in that regard. So I am I got a text 2 days ago from a friend who said, just got my first shot, #board games. And I was like, hey, that's what I'm thinking, man. Well, give me that thing. Get me to the board games.
I will tell you this. When I first was hanging out with you, Rich, we were, or maybe it was on the league or whatever. That wasn't the first time, but we were just talking about board games a lot. And I was like, give me some suggestions. You sent me a list of amazing board games. And over this pandemic, my wife and I got into this game that I love. It's this Jack the Ripper rummy game.
Yeah.
Mystery
Rummy, Jack the Ripper.
It took us the pandemic was a great time to really sit down and figure out how to play it. But I will tell you, it paid off such huge dividends. Like we were just like kids going like, oh, can we go play the cards now? Let's go play the cards. And to have like a 2-person game, like we play Blockus, we play a couple other games, but like that card game really did it. And we also, this is the game I want to ask you about very quickly. And Rob, I will, I don't know where your board game now.
Yeah,
Phase 10.
Nerds, do it, you weirdo nerds.
Have you played Phase 10?
I have not played Phase 10. That's like a mass market card game, right? Like
yes, it's basically
next to Uno at the store or something like that.
But it's really fun because it's basically like gin rummy, but you have to complete it in 10 phases. So it's a constant, like you basically everyone's competing on the same level of things that you have to do. And it was also and again, in this time when people are hesitant to jump around a board, or at least that's what I found. Card games that Phase 10 was a great like, hey, everyone can get it. It's kind of like Rummy, but there's another element to it that's really fun.
That mystery rummy game, just to go back to that for 1 second.
Please.
Again, sorry, Rob, one more time. That is the only game.
I'm gonna go take a nap and then I'll come back.
By the way, I just wanted to say, Rich, this is Daisy Barksdale crew wrote, mass market card game feels like an insult.
Daisy, you read a little subtext in there. Yeah. It's okay. Mystery Rummy is the only game that my wife has ever truly bitten at. Like that one we could always get to the table was Mystery Rummy, Jack the Ripper. The rest took convincing, but that was the one. Paul, by the way, you mentioned when we first met, I was thinking about this because in this the short film we're going to be sharing this evening, I was thinking about how long ago that was, and I was trying to sort of contextualize it in my head. And I took your level 3
I remember
18 years ago.
Whoa.
18 years ago. And then the short film I'll be sharing was from 9 years before that. So
Oh
that just
my
kind of
God.
was helping me to put it into my head.
You guys-
18
you
years
guys
ago.
You guys are old as fuck. man.
This is actually
Cordero and I took your level 3 18 years
I remember
ago.
that was like I had a bunch of Rob and I, we all were like the first group of teachers in the UCB that came up through the UCB, and I remember like that whole crop of everybody was amazing. They're all working. It's Pally, Ben Schwartz, Eugene. Like it's just everybody was. Just that was a great. I mean, just a crazy kind of time. But we had like, why don't Rob? I'll let you set this up. I don't want to board game it up anymore.
I know Rich hates this, so that's why I relish it so much, because I can relate. I'm going to show something after you. I know you got to go pretty soon, Rich, but later I'm going to show something. This commercial that I did that is a garbage commercial, and every time I see it, it gives me like anxiety, and like I start sweating, like I get diarrhea almost. Like it's just like it's embarrassing. It's like it's public humiliation. But yeah, this was basically as we said before, I used to host a show at UCB where people would come on and show like the worst thing they ever did, and Rich just like knocked it out of the park with this video. And Rich, you tell the backstory of it. Like what did it come about? Like what was the story with this?
So in another lifetime, I was very active in a church.
Yes.
And I was at that church, 3-4 days a week. That was sort of my social hub.
Yeah.
And I was very chummy with sort of the youth group leaders and the pastors, and I just knew everybody there.
Who's watching this show? He's probably watching this show, by the way.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. When I was, I think 15, I knew I wanted to act in anything. And this pastor approached me and he said, "Listen, I'm directing a music video, and I would love for you to be the lead guy in it." And I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, of course, yes, of course." He also then said, "Would you also edit it?" And I said, yeah, because I was very active also in the public access channels in Stillwater, Minnesota. And I was on the video yearbook staff. So I had access to an editing bay, and I skipped.
So laid. You got so laid.
Oh, man. Yeah. It was a busy time. I spent many, many hours in the video yearbook editing bay, editing what you're going to see tonight. And it is a music video. Now, I'll preface by saying this, too. When you watch it tonight, it's in black and white. You'll see there are only 2 color elements. I added those yesterday. One is a pine cone at the beginning, and one's a pile of leaves at the end. I genuinely tried to find a black box. I don't know how to do it on my computer. I haven't kept up with technology. I just blocked out the names of the singer-songwriter and the pastor who directed it. I'm sure you could still track them down if you really wanted to. I just didn't want to.
No, and I think, by the way, I think that's actually really nice and fair. Yeah. And I also love that this is a time in the world where I feel like people were doing 2 things. Like the pastor who also directed. Like there's a great movie called Miami Connection, and it was like this guy owned a kung fu dojo in Orlando, and he's like, now I'm gonna make my movie. And like, it's like there like Tommy Wiseau was selling jeans. He's like, and now I'm gonna make my it felt like being a director was like, oh, and of course I'm a director. I mean, yes, I do your taxes during the day, but at night I'm directing. Yeah.
And, do we need to know the theme of this video? This is a music video.
I think that's probably an important aspect of it too. It is the song is called Best Stuff.
Okay.
And the best stuff the song refers to is basically sex in marriage.
Oh.
And I am playing the guy who is trying to get. Oh man, it is. I am throwing up. I am playing. It's
really hot in your house.
It's really hot. I'm playing the young gentleman who is trying to get my longtime girlfriend to give it up.
Okay.
And if you really listen to the lyrics, and I, by the way, I have them all still memorized after those many hours in a editing bay, so I can help you if you miss any. But But yeah, there's sex during marriage is the best, sure. But you tell it to this guy in this video, who's not me, but is played by me. Yes, so that's
all right.
There's a little more, but it'll require the context of the
And by the way, at any point you can say stop. We can talk. We can go back into it. We can.
Too much.
Yeah, but
You can tap out. You can tap out.
All right, here we go. All right.
Here we go, indeed. That's a pine cone I added.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Jim and Joe, they've been going out steady since they both were sophomores. All along the path gets heavy. Jimmy always wants more.
I wanted to kiss her so bad.
Jody said, I know how you feel, and I believe I
And we have a real
love
drunk
you
history thing here.
more.
We're mouthing the words
There's a
as
part
they're
of me
being
that
sung.
I'm keeping for my wedding day. Jimmy says, oh,
Come on, it's the 90s.
no one waits these days. Jody says the man who weds me is gonna find I was worth the wait. Because Jimmy, the best stuff, the real stuff,
Set you free stuff.
Why is he in a graveyard?
Oh, the questions abound. Why is he in a graveyard? Soon you'll see he's surrounded by beer bottles too in this Christian video. It's baffling, the design choices.
Wait, but all right. So I just want to make something clear because people are. The pastor is not the singer-songwriter.
No, he's behind the camera.
Got it. Just want to make sure. Okay.
I also can I ask you, I have a crazy echo. Am I the only one?
No, I have it too.
You have an echo? I'm hearing it. All right, we'll see.
As
We'll
long
see
as
what-
our viewers
all right.
don't have
I think I haven't seen it in the chat, so we'll see. I'll keep on.
It never does come easy. That's how it is.
Beer bottles on the table there. You'll see them more clearly soon. I'm also in the cemetery. This all takes place in a graveyard.
Jimmy says,
Oh.
Jody, I'm going crazy.
Nice shot. That's a good
If you
shot.
love me, you do it. Yeah.
Jody says, Jim, I told you I'm waiting. Don't try to push me into it. Jimmy says, hey, if you won't give in, then maybe we should just call it quits. Jody
Hold on.
Fucking gesture.
I do like that you have brought her to a cemetery to have sex with her. All
Yeah,
right.
it's very romantic.
The overhead shot did show an amazing cell phone too. Right in the center panel, I did like the
Might have been a car phone.
car phone. Yes,
holding
sorry. Yes.
hands, or are you grabbing her? Figure out.
We're holding hands. I think it's supposed to be, and again, I edited it, but I don't
Right.
remember what my choice, why I made this choice. We take hands there when I say something like, when I'm trying to gently encourage her to deflower herself for me, and it's supposed to, I think, be sort of like a, hey, babe, come on.
Right.
And then she pushes me away, and I do another one of my patented sort of faces that are throughout this video.
All right, here we go. This is amazing.
says, Jimmy, I really love you, but I don't like you much right now.
There's one.
Jimmy says, well, then let's just break up. I waited long enough. Jody says, don't you see, this is why I'm glad that we didn't make love. And Jimmy, the best stuff,
Whoa! Now he's in the car.
real stuff,
Same car.
Yeah.
set you free
Just
stuff.
left her?
It never does
Yeah,
come
the beer
cheap.
left her in the cemetery to walk home.
The best stuff. Oh, Jimmy, the
And people
real
know. I
stuff.
mean, just for people, I would imagine most cemeteries are on the outskirts of town, so this is far away from her house. I mean,
That's
I'm
right.
assuming, yeah.
She's got a ways to walk home.
Yeah.
Fucking Ice House commercial.
That's right. Now we're coming up on the bridge where she prays about what happened.
Oh.
And there's a great shot of a cross, porcelain cross.
Later on that night, Jody got on her knees and prayed. And she
Here it comes.
said, Lord, I felt close to you today.
Now this is where she likens
'Cause it
Jesus'
really was
crucifixion
breaking my heart.
to this guy pressuring her.
Up on that cross. And it's like I saw what you did in a brand new way.
She saw what Jesus did in a brand new way
Wow.
because she had to break up about sex.
Right. She gave up something. Well,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
Stuff,
Equipment,
Catholic-
obviously.
Yeah.
the real stuff, that set you free stuff. never does come easy.
Wow.
Jody hasn't dated in a while now. She's still not over Jimmy. When someone says I love you, then you find out that all he meant was gimme. It's kind of like it shakes your heart up. You really don't know who to trust. But Jody smiles and
That's a real
says
dad.
I'll be alright. I know I'll heal with time. And she believes that someday
Now she
she'll
talks about
find
fantasizing about a new
pieces in
boyfriend who
place.
will wait.
The guy who say, Jody, you turn me
That
on,
guy is
but I really
her youth
think
group
we
leader,
should
10 years
wait.
there for sure.
'Cause Jody the best stuff,
Wow.
the real stuff,
Yeah.
such a free stuff.
You know,
The
this,
steamboat.
Never does come cheap.
It's the Andiamo in Stillwater, Minnesota.
Best stuff.
oh.
Oh, Jody
He looks too
Fair.
old for her. He does look too old for her.
is such a free
He is.
stuff. It never does come easy. And that's how I want us to be.
I do want to say something that, like, about this in a very serious way. It's interesting that they
Wait, we're
still
so
have.
close to the
I'm going to play it. I mean, I'm just saying, but like, oh, we are. All right, then I'll get back to it. I want no.
It's just the fade out, basically.
Here. Uh-oh, bye-bye. Oh,
Pile of leaves.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I was going to say what I was surprised at was that they managed to also like have a little romance. Like it wasn't like a puritanical relationship. The second like relationship, I feel like there was some like, you know, like I was surprised that that they showed that side of it. It seemed more progressive, I guess, for the best stuff.
Well, it's a oddly progressive. The whole thing is so weird because again, like the beer bottles everywhere.
Yeah.
It's clearly not. We weren't like a super conservative church. We were
That's like a cool church. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a Lutheran,
Yeah.
hip Lutheran church.
Yeah.
But I don't know that people would jive so much with the fact that the young lady in that video is 16 at the time, and the guy is 20.
Don't like that.
4 or 5.
Don't like that age difference at all. No, yeah.
Not in that moment. Not then when she's 16. No.
No, yeah. That's
Rich, I don't know that it's that embarrassing. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
You have a body of work that people love, but
I mean the topic is embarrassing, but like it's not like your performance was shitty.
Well, you definitely don't have anything to be embarrassed about in the editing. I'm going to tell you that.
No, the editing, by the way, I stand by the editing.
You make
absolutely.
What I'm trying to say is, you make a great creep that's trying to peer pressure a girl and having sex in a cemetery.
I have pretty much made a career out of playing a creep, so this was just the beginning of a long line.
I do want that girl to tell a story like to her daughter or her son. Like, I was dating this guy at one point, and he just left me to walk home in a cemetery. Like, just
well, wow, was there any reason, Mom, or did he just left?
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it.
I wonder
he held
if
my
the
hand like
girl-
this. He twisted my hand.
I wonder if the girl in the video shows this video to her friends and is like, "Yeah, that's Rich Sommer," or if it's like, "Oh, whatever happened to that weirdo?" Like they don't even know who you are now.
I think. Well, I don't know. I haven't talked to her since I was in high school.
Well, you guys had a pretty terrible breakup. You left her.
We did have a terrible breakup.
Do you still
I've tried
check
to track her
in?
down, but
Do you ever check in on the church? Like, I mean, sometimes, not even in a longing way, but like there'll be some nights where like I'll just get a thing in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, my best friend from like 6th grade. Let me see if I can find that person. He has an odd name, and I was like, let me go find him, and I couldn't. And now I've made up in my head that person is dead. I don't think he is, but like, sometimes I've had like success. I'm like, oh, that's what they're doing. It's like I, for the longest time, couldn't find my stepsisters. Like I had stepsisters for a short period of time. And I was like, whatever happened to them? And I mentioned it on a podcast, and like the day the podcast came out, someone was like, ding, here they are. And I got to see where they're at, and it was very fulfilling. And that was it.
wow.
Yeah.
I do check in. I mean, I still have a fairly strong, even though my family's left Minnesota, I've stayed in touch with Stillwater, which was my hometown.
Right.
I do work with the library there still now, trying to raise money for them, and so I have some connection to the town, but I have no connection to any church now.
Right.
But my best friend from growing up, the one actually in the music video, we're walking outside of the shop together. She sees us walk by on the sidewalk, laughing and having fun. He and I were best friends from third grade on, and we lived together all 4 years of college, and then he went on to seminary and is a pastor, and I became a total heathen.
Oh, wow.
But we grew up going to that church together, doing all the church, being on the church youth board together, doing all of that stuff. And then we just went to divergent paths on that front. But he's in my game group that I meet with every week.
Oh, I
now,
love that.
Oh, wow. Well, you guys might be able to answer this for me because I'm still saving myself. But is sex inside of marriage the best stuff?
Yeah, well, Rob,
It's
you've been
the
married.
real stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
But you are married.
I've been married. I've been married for 7 years, and I'm just saving myself.
Rob subscribes, and this is something that we talk about on the show a lot, to the 10-year rule, which is you cannot have sex until 10 years of marriage, because then you know.
Right.
By the way,
Right.
I don't know if I've talked about this on this show, but I'll repeat it because I think I have two solid ideas. One is 60-second karaoke. So whenever you're out doing karaoke, it's never more than a minute. It's the best part of the song.
It's not connected to anything we've talked about.
And the other thing is that for wedding gifts, you get them the year after you're married. Like, so basically, I got you prove to me that it will last, and then you'll get your gift. I'm not gonna give you a gift if it's gonna be shaky in 9 months.
Sure.
So I believe that you should wait a year for sex and wait a year for your gifts.
Wait 10 years for sex.
Yeah, 10 years for sex, 1 year for gift.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I just imagine what sex is like, and I know it's gonna be. People say it feels sort of like a sneeze, but down there, and I just can't wait. Because I love sneezing. I mean,
well, I've seen you sneezing like a lot. Like I see you try to make yourself sneeze a lot. Is that like?
Oh yeah. I can make this stuff.
Always looking at the sun.
Rich, I know you have to go, dude, but I'm so psyched to see you. I haven't seen you in so long, and thank you for having the courage to share that. That's so cool.
I will say, as Rob knows, this is the third time that we've done a sort of shit show version of screening this. The other two were live in person, where there was no way for it to sort of be disseminated about the world. Doing it on the internet does carry with it
this disappears. This disappears.
We will not. Yeah, we will not put this up. We will not put this up.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. People can.
We'll tell everybody We'll tell everybody right now. Be cool. Our audience is cool. We're like, don't clip it.
Don't
clip
Rich.
it.
You'll be fine. Well, Rich, thanks so much, dude. I'm so psyched to see you, man.
Yeah.
Likewise, it was good to see you guys, and have a good day crescendo of your pandemic life.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get to see each other in person and avoid each other.
Yeah, the mask.
We'll play some nerd games that you guys like.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right. See you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you, buddy.
That was amazing.
Man, that's really cool. Should we show what time is Julian coming on at 6:30?
We got Julian here right now. We have our special guest, but we can do something. He's on at 6:30.
Well, I was just going to show if you want to show my terrible thing.
Yeah,
too,
absolutely.
So that I participate. I feel like it's unfair for me to ask people.
I hear. Yeah. Well, I have something that I want to show as well, which is I think it might take the cake in the sense that it's so upsetting that I was proud of it. And so that will be how I'll tease it. And I will say right now, Rob, we are almost at $1,500 raised for Stop AAPI Hate on our Tiltify. We are so many people have been donating, and this has been actually so amazing to see. I want to give it out to oh man, I don't even know. Small P Dillo. This is probably like a Simpsons joke, like Flafferman for $50, Chelsea for $50. Let's see who else I'm seeing down here. There's a lot. I'm trying to. I messed up. I'm trying to figure out how to look and give some more names. But
Well, let's just reset it a little bit. We are raising money.
Yeah.
If you have, I know people, everyone's broke. If you are in a position where you could donate to the Stop AAPI Hate, that would be great. We're raising money tonight for that organization in light of what's happened in Atlanta, and thinking about our Asian brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So thank you for everybody who's donated. That's very cool of you.
You can just jump right in here, and we'll put it up in the chat again. But yeah, so many people just giving up. And honestly, $20 from KDR, and Aunt Sin for $20, and Dan for 10, and Chelsea for 50, and Sarah S for 25, Neil for 20, Ish for 20. Thank you. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for joining us on this journey. It makes, I think us feeling that we're here tonight to, I think, it's nice to take our mind off of it, but also keep our mind on it in a way. So that is great. And Rob, I will let you set up this thing. I was talking about this actually this week with Adam Pally, because there's a part of the story that you may not remember that I will apologize for. So go ahead. Tell them.
Okay, for this commercial, my commercial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think people in the chat, some people seem to already know this was the last. I sort of got my start doing commercials because when I was in New York, first getting going, when I was like 27, 28, I had hair like this. I had like gray, not this white actually. My hair was like sort of salt and pepper, which was kind of weird, but great for casting. So I kept getting. Once I got a commercial, I started getting all these commercials like Young Dad and just like Concerned Parent and all that. And so I went in to this audition, and it was for the Olive Garden. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the Olive Garden restaurant. They famously provide unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks. And
wow,
I sort of,
I didn't know it was all three.
Yeah. Right. And I kind of had a rule that I only wanted to do funny commercials. I thought I want to get into comedy, and if I'm doing commercials, as long as they're funny, I'll do it. And so I went into this one, and it was not funny at all. It was like very sincere. My wife and I out on a date, and the director who was there at the audition just fucking lied to me. He was like, improvise, do whatever you want. So I was like super weird in the audition and sarcastic. And he was like, great. I'm a big fan of comedy, and I've seen you in other commercials. So anyway, long story short, he cast me in the commercial. I go to shoot. They let me fuck around all day long. We're in this fake restaurant that looks like Olive Garden. I'm with this other woman who's playing my wife. And the whole day for 10 hours, I'm throwing out weird reactions and weird jokes. And I'm like, I don't know what they're going to use, but this is fun. And then at the end of the day, the last thing, he was like, just so we're covered, can you just do one super straight and super sincere? And I was like, sure, man. At this point, I'm friends with this guy. So I thought. And so, of course, you know where this is going. That's the take they used. They used the really shitty, sincere thing. And so I was so upset that I think I was out here in LA when it started airing, and I was still living in New York, and I was so embarrassed because it was so sincere and so shitty.
But Rob, this commercial was Sunday, NFL Sunday football. I feel like if you watched NFL Sunday football, it was on a minimum of 15 times.
They started playing the shit out of it. And I was I remember John Glazer called me and was like, what is this commercial? And I was just so humiliated. Everyone was texting me and stuff. And so all that said, let's show this piece of shit.
Here we go. This is great. All right.
Hi, how are you?
Great. We're treating ourselves tonight.
Oh, anniversary? Birthday?
No, it's just
Monday. Olive Garden's 2 new Alfredos. Crab Venezia with tender snow crab and a seafood Alfredo, and new steak and portobello Alfredo at Olive Garden.
All right, let's go back to because yeah. Okay, here we go.
Hi, how are you?
Great. We're treating ourselves tonight.
Oh, anniversary? Birthday?
No, it's just
Monday. Olive Garden's 2 new Alfredo.
I love. All right, one more time.
Hi, how are you?
Great. We're treating ourselves tonight.
Oh, anniversary? Birthday?
No, it's just
Monday. Olive Garden's 2 new Alfredo.
I mean,
my fake red hair. Who says to a waitress right when she comes over, we're treating ourselves tonight. Like,
you're bringing them in. You're one of the cool couples. You're like, we're going to become friends. You're my server, but we're also can get past that. You're not my servant.
I was so mortified because at that point, you know, when you're just kind of starting, like, I only wanted to do like cool stuff. And, you know, I think we were doing Human Giant. Had we already done Human Giant?
This is the part of the story that I was talking about the other day. So this commercial is playing. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how I remember it. This commercial is playing. It's playing a ton. And in the airing of it, it's so popular that they re-up your contract, and it's good. Like they're like, hey, will you can we extend it? And when they extend it, you get even more money, and you're getting residuals. So in this world in which we're not making that much money, you're getting a sizable chunk of change because you have a successful commercial. Yeah. And I remember Aziz and I like sat down with you on the couch because Aziz is like, dude, we can't have this commercial on because we're Human Giant and we got to be like, we're this and we're not that. He
said that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, and I remember this sitting there and you were like, well, yeah. And then, so you were like, we had this conversation and you're like, yeah, you're right. Like he tried to talk me out of doing Best Week Ever too. He can't do that. Like we got to go here. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And like we were very much like, we are this now and we can't do that. And in my remembrance of it, you were like, okay, I won't do it. You opt not to re-up the contract again. A week passes and they've like recast you. It's exactly the exact same commercial. Like just with a guy, same woman and same server. Everything was the same except for you.
Yeah, they came to me. Thank you for remembering that. You're always my memory. They came to me and they said, yeah, we just want to extend it. I wouldn't have had to do anything. I just let them keep playing it.
Yep.
And because it had been a long time. Yeah, it had. I shot it like a couple of years. Oh, that's what it was. I shot it like a few years before Human Giant, and I was always worried about it because I never knew how it was going to go. And then it started airing during Human Giant. I think it was like right when Human Giant started airing.
Yeah,
that's why I was so embarrassed because the show had just started, and I thought, like, oh my God, we're going to be so famous. We're going to be like these. We're going to be these like really cool comedians on MTV. And I was so worried about it.
You have a sketch where like you're fucking a dolphin and then it's like, we're treating ourselves. Like, you didn't want to have like those two things. Like,
well, you just compare yourselves like other people in the state and Tim and Eric and all those guys. And I was like, those people would never do that, And so, they came to me and they were like, hey, it's been a few years since you shot that commercial. The contract has expired. We want to renew it. And this is what an idiot I am. I told my agent, I said, tell them they can re-air it if they'll give me $1 million. I told my agent to tell them that. Like, I'm nobody. And my agent was like, well, you're an idiot. And so, you're absolutely correct. They went and they reshot it with someone who looked very similar to me. And that guy made a ton of money. And
so, what you don't remember is that guy was Anderson Cooper. And because of that, he became incredibly successful and had his own CNN news show.
That's right. And that's why we have this rivalry. And it's, maybe it might only be embarrassing to me. It's just one of those things that's like so sincere. By the way, I've done a ton of shitty stuff. I'm sure you have as well. And I love digging that stuff up because it's just part of it. You just you never know how something's going to turn out. I mean, a commercial sucks kind of sometimes anyway, because it's so, you just feel like a sellout on some level, but there's tons of movies that I've done where I've like, oh, this is going to be great. And then it's like, you see, and you're like, oh, that one.
You never know. I mean, you never know. Yeah. And we're talking about this idea tonight of, not failure, but things that we're embarrassed by, things that we've encountered. And I was thinking about this when we were putting together this show. And we're going to actually do something really cool with Julian and somebody from our Discord, Joe Esposito, in a little bit. But I wanted to bring out Julian because Julian, who's been on our show before, you know him from the Howard Stern Show. You also know him from his own Twitch channel where he does these piano bars on Fridays and Wednesdays, I believe. But please welcome Julian Velard. I'll let him explain a little bit too. Julian, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
yes. I saw that you've been here for a little bit, and we were just talking about this idea of like, of these things that we're embarrassed by, or these things that these failures. And you have literally one of your albums is called like Songs About Failure, right? I mean,
yes, I have a whole. Failure. But wait, Rob, you're not going to believe this. Your wife in that commercial is the wife of my ex-manager.
What? Is that true?
Solomon's wife. is the wife in the commercial. And my friend Rashawn, who used to manage me, he texted me. He's watching the show. He's like, "That's Michael Solomon's wife with Rob." I can't believe it.
What
Oh,
a
my
small
God.
world. How weird. We're in a simulation. We're in a fucking simulation.
Connections.
This is
Brody Stevens.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Anyway,
That's
sorry.
wild.
I was like, he was literally like, my phone's blowing up while I'm watching you guys. And
That's so funny.
Dude, I
I
love
didn't
this.
even know she was an actress. Anyway. So
But yeah, so you have this album. So I mean, I wanted to bring you on to do a song about this thing, but we also are going to do something actually really cool tonight. Like I said, with this guy Joe Esposito from our Discord. I think we'll walk him into it on how it will happen. But I want to talk about your thing first, Julian, because this is great.
Well, see, unlike you guys, like I have this idea, like well, maybe it is like you, because I have this idea that I have integrity, and it's made me to make a lot of stupid. I guess that is exactly Rob's thing. He made a terrible financial choice based upon some perception of integrity. And my thing is more
Based on our perception of integrity.
right,
Like we
it's
guilted him into it. Yeah.
They peer pressured me. Yeah.
It's horrible. And I basically the long and short of it is that I had a record deal in whatever, a decade plus ago, and I lived in London, and I was like, had my little year around the merry-go-round of maybe being somebody, and then I was nobody again. But during that time, London's a small sort of pool, and you kind of bump into all the talent and the up-and-comers. And basically, Ed Sheeran slept on my couch for a night. That's the story.
All
right.
Whoa.
Before he was anybody. And
The Ed Sheeran? Wow.
The Ed Sheeran slept on my couch, and he was. I'm sure he's a lovely person, but he basically like uninvited slept his way on my couch. We had a party at my house that he came back to sort of like post gig, and I knew him because I played gigs with him. He was just a kid playing around London in whatever 08 or 09. And everybody left the party, and then Ed Sheeran proceeded to not leave the party and just kind of pretend like he was asleep on the couch.
And by the way, I have the flyer from. Should I show them the flyer of when you guys performed?
This
together?
is the flyer from the gig. So I was like, "Hey, Paul, no, this is absolute proof of this event happening."
There it
in,
is. Yeah, there it is.
Wednesday 24th. That must be like 2009 or something. It's July or whatever. And we were on a bill together. And then afterwards, he came over and we were all hanging out and drinking and whatever. And then everybody left, and Ed just kind of curled up on the couch, and we just thought, oh, he must have nowhere to go. We feel weird about maybe asking him to leave. So me and my roommate, right, and that's his number from when he's still in my contact. I'm pretty sure that number doesn't work, but I blacked it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure if you know how it's funny with like when people create their first email address, it's like you could probably email like Steve Jobs
anyone.
at Apple.
Anyone.
Like you'll get them.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Anyway,
this is what I love too. By the way, that it's still on your phone. It shows up like this. Friday.
Absolutely.
Today is Ed Sheeran's birthday.
It's totally true. And so then the next morning I took him out for breakfast because, at the time I had a record deal and I thought I was big shit and I was playing a gig. I'm like, oh, let me take this little guy out to breakfast. And then on breakfast, he proceeded to interrogate me, like straight up interrogate me about record deals, publishing deals, every music piece of biz, like trying to drain my knowledge from me. And I got the kid out of there and I was like, this guy's unbearable. Like, he just won't, he's just like, it's like just going nonstop. Like, oh, like what a weird craven fame monster.
Yeah.
And then that was Ed Sheeran. And here I am on Twitch with you guys. It's like, that's so, yeah. And then I made basically, I love to talk a lot about being a failure, for better or worse. And I wrote a whole record. And one of the songs on that record is called "The Night Ed Sheeran Slept on My Couch."
All right, I'm gonna give you like a full screen here to give you some good.
Right, I'll play it. I'll play a bit of it. Oh, there we go. Rob commercial.
Yeah. Okay, you're on. I got to figure out how to get you on the big screen. All right, you know what? Here, I'll do it like I think I could do it like this. Hold on.
So but I'm seeing in the chat they're saying that tonight's themes is missed opportunities. And
I mean,
did I miss the opportunity?
No, not really. Well, we didn't theme anything. We've just been sort of zigzagging all over the place from shitty projects to failure and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, things we're embarrassed by. But I'll give you a solo screen. Yeah.
Okay. I should have been nicer to him, right? I'd probably be like, throw me a bone. I don't know.
All right, here. I'll give you your screen here.
Okay. All right. I'll give you guys here. I look around and see that nothing has changed. Maybe I'll get the furniture rearranged. slipping through channels on daytime TV, playing piano for nobody but me, while he plays in Paris and wakes up in Rome. Private planes to LA, but it wasn't that way the night Ed Sheeran slept on my couch. My fridge is broken, it's 100 years old. Customer service people got me on hold. I'm getting close, number 3 in the line. A few more payments and the fridge will be mine, while he pays for nothing. Each meal comes for free. He just sings them a song, the same one he sang me the night Ed Sheeran slept on my couch. I've let a lot of people sleep on my couch, stretch themselves out. It's a comfortable couch. All I remember is someone named Ed who needed a bed. He got the couch instead. That time in my life, it's over and done. Still I sit here and wonder, what if I'd been the one sleeping on sofas? Maybe then I would see what's special about him and why it's not me living life in the moments, free from regret. Now the world's biggest star is the same kid I met that forgettable night that I'll never forget. The night Ed Sheeran slept on my couch.
Dude.
Oh man. That was amazing.
It's also weird, like post-pandemic, because I realized like that chip has like completely eroded. Like I don't care, but I really care. I was like really upset. I wrote a song about it. Now I'm like, I'm just such a jackass, you know.
It's so funny. I thought the song might take a dark turn where it's like where you end up like stalking him and like breaking into his house, sleeping under his bed, and then killing him, or
well,
something.
check this out. So like I wrote this song, and then he's like on Fallon or Kimmel talking about. Or Jamie Foxx is on Kimmel talking about how Ed Sheeran also slept on his couch.
Whoa.
So apparently, like, this is a thing that Ed Sheeran did before he was famous. He would, like, go to parties and, like, sleep on people's couches.
Oh, that's
like,
hilarious.
and Jamie Foxx was like, yeah, he stayed on my couch for 2 weeks, and we hung out. And, like, I don't know.
That's so funny.
And that story is only really good when the person becomes mega successful. When
Yes,
no one's telling that story of the guy who like, all right, well now he's working at the FedEx Kinko's or whatever.
and also like when I wrote that song, he was like pretty famous, and now he's even more famous. You know, it's like he just kept getting more famous. I was like, I wrote that in like 2015. He's like, he's pretty famous. Now he's like still the biggest artist on Spotify, like period.
It's wild. Julian, do you want to set up what we're going to do, or should I maybe we should like do it jointly? We have this idea, basically. We've been talking about an idea of how to do something kind of cool. So maybe you set up on how much we want to reveal at the top, and we can kind of walk it through.
Yeah, totally. So Paul and I came up with a concept of doing something that I guess we're tentatively calling the song of your life, where basically we are going to have a guest that we're going to talk to and sort of take the song that this person thinks embodies them and do our best to sort of make it truly embody them, whatever that means.
Well, this is
so,
great.
and the guy this is a person from the chat, from the Discord.
This is Joe Esposito. Here he is, right here.
Okay.
Welcome, Joe. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. You know, Joe, I reached out to you this morning to come on the show. You don't know what you're here for, but this is going to be the song of your life, and we're gonna Rob and I are gonna chat with you.
Can I clarify?
Yeah.
So Joe agreed to do a bit on this show, and he has no idea. Like, what if it was like, hey, we sent a bunch of snakes to your home?
Well, look,
and they're
Joe did not give out his home address, but
Okay,
we were
okay.
able to find based on his how he's calling in where he does live, and we are sending that box of snakes right now. So
Oh, great.
That is good.
Good.
But so yeah, Rob and I are just going to talk to you about you, just kind of find out about you. And one of the things we were talking today, and we were saying like, what is like one of your favorite songs? And you were mentioning this like Led Zeppelin song that you really like.
The song is In the Evening. It's one of their longer songs, and Zeppelin's one of those bands where when I hear their stuff, I always, because I'm a visual artist, I think visually. And so when I hear that song, I always kind of have this grand vision in my head of kind of like giant crystal castles, because it's got this really beautiful opening that goes on for a while. It's just like this dreamy song. And it's one that I've just loved forever. And I don't know why I would associate it with myself, because I have no idea, but it's just,
I love it because you did answer it pretty quickly. And even, but you're talking about love. Like, what is the love of your life? Like, is there anything that you find yourself like is graphic art? Is that a thing? Or is there like, what is your drive, your passion?
Yeah, it is. It's artwork. I mean, that was what I went to school for that. Speaking, since you guys were talking about failed artist, I came out thinking I was going to be the next Jim Lee. It's not.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I follow artists. I buy like this room. There's original art all over the place in prints. And that's something that, even though I'm not doing it professionally, I love to find people who are doing actual art and try to buy it when I can, and just surround myself with it, because I think it just enriches everything. So, yeah.
Wow. Is there anything in your life that you really wanted to happen, but you couldn't quite make it happen? Like you couldn't quite, just didn't pan out the way you wanted it to pan out?
Yeah, well, I mean, being an artist was that was kind of something for years and years. I tried at it, and art's very tough. I mean, any type of creative field is tough.
And are you talking about like painting? Like what kind of artist are you?
Illustration. So I was thinking comic books. That was my aim, was to come out, because.
Yeah. Is there a difference between the cover comic book art? I mean, I've worked with, whenever I do a comic book, the people who do my panels are different than the people who do my covers. And I know sometimes there's crossover there too. But is that a different skill set or no?
So basically black and white illustrations, what I did, pen and ink, pencil, pen and ink. So that was my idea, was to hopefully do interiors if I was good enough to do it, or cover art too. I mean, I don't, either one would have worked for me. It really didn't matter. And it just never happened, because either it's just luck, which a lot of it is that, or just I wasn't as good as the thousands of other artists that are out there. That's just how it goes sometimes.
But I want to ask a question about this, because I am in awe of a pen and ink artist. Like there's so much beauty in these panels, and they pop. I will say that when I think about the amount of work it takes to do and the amount of detail, it feels overwhelming to me, especially in a comic book where it is like you're just like you're in it. How does it like I want to just hear that process. Like, what is that process like to even draw that? Do you get bored by it, or do you get stuck? It's like, I feel like I start with the boldest of intentions, and then I would just drop off immediately.
So what I do, or the way I work, is I tend to bounce between 4 or 5 different things at a time. So I'm never just doing one thing, because I do a lot of small detail work.
Yeah.
And that can get extremely repetitive. So what I'll do is I'll spend, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes on one section doing that, which is a lot of just small lines. Yeah. And then I will jump to something where I just have to fill in color, or I just have to do like a more of a sketch outline where it's looser and there's not as much of doing the same thing over and over. And the other benefit then is you don't want to look at something for too long, because then you sort of get warped into it. So to step away from it, I can come back and go, oh no, the nose is way too far over. I'm going to move it, correct it. So that helps that too.
I love this.
Joe, is there anything in your life that you feel like you have like a really tumultuous relationship with? Is there anything that sort of like has just kind of like fucked? I mean, this is sort of personal, but like, is there anything that's just sort of like thrown you for a loop, or something that is just kind of really haunted you, throughout your life?
I mean, probably the closest thing, and it's just a regret more than, I mean, I guess you would say it haunted me too, is when my dad got sick. Because I'm in California now. I grew up, was born and raised in New York. So my family is back there. And when he got sick, nobody really knew how bad it was and how fast it was going. So I had a plane ticket for the next day to go see him once he was in the hospital. And my mom called me about oh, I know it was late at night, and said, he's gone.
Yeah.
And so I got to talk to him. So that's why, I don't, it's not too heavy on me because I spoke to him. I told him I loved him. He told me he loved me. Like we said the things we had to say, but I didn't make it back.
Yeah.
And that's something where I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
Good luck, Julian, trying to make that story funny.
Yeah, this is
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
No, but I know
it does not have to be funny. That's perfect.
By the way, Joe.
Personal.
Yeah, Joe, you've been great. I know because Joe and I talked to Joe a little bit. I said just be on beer. I'm actually having an amazing time chatting with you. Like, I mean, but this is an interesting thing. Like, we're always. Look, like I think that grief defines us to a certain degree. I think that, sadness and brings us, I think everything is like a yin and yang. Is there anything that you wrestle with internally, like that is tumultuous for you? Like, it's like, is there anything that you do battle with? It could be a person, but more importantly, like just mentally.
Like are you talking about like bad habits?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bad habits, or you want to do this better, but you don't do it better, or like what is this like kind of thing that you're always trying to get over? It could be as simple as like, oh, I want to read more books. I just never get to reading that book. It's like, yeah.
I think what it really, for me, what it is trying to stay optimistic. I fight with that because, and we all know this, there's a lot of rough, this week's a perfect example. There's just rough stuff that happens and it can seem overwhelming. And there are times where it is overwhelming and I have to sit back and try not to wallow in it.
Yeah.
Which is tough. I think we all in different ways have that exact same problem, but it can get to the point where it's like, okay, step back. Remember, your wife loves you. Your dog loves you. You're healthy.
By the way,
I have a house.
You're married. Do you? You like what is that like that? Obviously, love of your life. Like, how did you know? Like, who? Like, do you mind sharing her name at all, or you don't have to? But
Samantha. Sam.
Samantha. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Sam. So, how long have you guys been together for?
We have been together for 14 years. Married for 14 years. We dated for about 2 years before we got married.
I love it.
And what's your dog's name?
Maggie.
She sounds
like a
golden
retriever.
Golden retriever, Maggie.
Oh, she's a riot. She's great.
The best.
She's great.
If we could give you a genie lamp, if I could, what would if you could wish for one thing? And let's be selfish. Like, look, I would appreciate if you said world peace. I would appreciate if you said, everyone get along. But let's be selfish and let's go. This is for you, Joe. What would you get out of that box? This is your sharper image moment, not your, And,
if I'm going to be purely selfish, 78 Corvette in deep maroon.
I love
that's what it'd be. My dad had Corvettes. I never got to drive one. He wrecked them all, but I've loved Corvettes, especially the 70 series. I love those cars. They're the sexiest cars ever made. And I would love to have, I couldn't fit in one probably, but I would love to have one. It'd be great.
I love that.
Easy. And Joe, if there's anyone, is there anyone in the world that you would like to get revenge on? Like someone that if you saw them, you'd like pull over, whatever, a guy from elementary school, that was a bully or some weirdo. Anybody like that?
Was a guy. No, I can think of him right away. I went to college with a guy who was one of these people who was just the most negative person, and I roomed with him for a year. And at one point, I'm not going to get into this story, but I accidentally lit my room on fire. And when we were trying to put the fire out, he runs in. I'm not kidding. This is not an exaggeration. He grabs a handful of Dave Matthews CDs and runs out. Doesn't help. Doesn't bother. Sees us throwing water on what's like a chemical fire because it was my paint. It was the paint and the turpentine. And we accidentally lit a lighter too close and it went up. And it was one of those things. And he just runs in, grabs the CDs, and he runs out. And I'm like, man, thanks. That guy.
I love it.
He's a big Dave Matthews fan.
Gotta save those discs. Gotta save those bootlegs. Yeah. Julian, how you feeling? You feel good?
I'm all right here. I'm writing furiously. I think I've got it, but you can pump him for a little bit more.
We'll filibuster. Yeah, we'll filibuster a little bit.
What part of what you say you live in LA or California?
Northern California, about an hour or so outside of San Francisco.
What is me like if I came to visit you, what's the one thing you're going to show me? Like where do you bring people to be like? I've been to San Francisco. I've been if I've seen the big stuff. I'm talking about like what's your secret spot?
There's a university that I work at that's called University of the Pacific, and it's one of the most beautiful campuses that you could ever see. It's one of those old style campuses it's got a giant tower and ivy and all the stuff that you expect out of the old college,
like Indiana
type of thing,
Jones,
Indiana
style,
Jones. Yes, exactly. There's buildings that look like the building he crawled out of in the third. In fact, I thought it was the same one, and I checked, and it isn't. But that type of thing, and it's gorgeous, and you just walk around and water fountain, and it's all green grass. It's wonderful. It's great.
That sounds awesome.
I love it.
Joe, I got one. What's the shittiest vacation you've ever been on? Like where you took a trip, and you're like, what the fuck is this place?
A couple of friends and I, when we were single and miserable because we'd all been dumped fairly close at the same time, and we were just on a misery tour, we went to Disneyland. Or Disney World. Or no, Disney World is what's in Florida.
Yeah, the Florida one.
Florida already. I'm not a heat guy. I'm not a humid guy.
Bad.
And it was raining and lines and Goofy and Mickey Mouse, and it was just like,
dude, single dudes going to Disney World I want that movie. I like we're going through a breakup and we go to. By the way, I am a person who loves Disney World, so I'm not mocking Disney World, but I am thinking that is not the best place for the rebound trip.
The worst. Everybody's so happy and together. No, it was the bad.
Just four miserable men walking around just shitting on everything. I also love that you're surprised that Mickey had the audacity to be there. What is Mickey Mouse doing in Disney World?
This is the logic that applies when you make a bad decision like this, is you stop thinking about the things that would have to come along with Disney. It's just, wait a minute.
Yeah. Kids all over the place. Yeah.
Screaming kids, lots of people.
Yeah, it's not the place. It's not an adult vacation. I will talk to my mom. I went to my parents. I've talked about this a lot. My mom and her husband, when he was alive, they went to Disney World 2-3 times a year. They had timeshare there. They still do. And my mom one time, I was with my mom, and my mom says to me, we're by the pool, and she's like, oh, you know what I hate about this place? And she says it in all sincerity. It's the kids. These kids are running around like nonstop. I'm like, yeah, you're in fucking Disney World. Like you're in a hotel called like the Boardwalk Beach Hotel. Like she was angry that kids were running by the pool in Disney World. And that is my mom in a nutshell. Julian, how you feeling?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All
He's ready to go.
This is a big experiment. This is a big experiment.
So tell Joe what this is. Yeah.
So Joe, you chose a 8-minute Led Zeppelin song called "In the Evening," which I had to learn, and I have now adapted these words to somewhat fit your conversation that you just had. Again, I do think it's really interesting that you chose the song that represented you was about a lustful man who can't get any satisfaction. That was sort of that's sort of the gist of this song. Am I right in nailing that, or
no? That's right. And I told a story about single guys at Disney World, which is miserable. And so sort of an odd choice, I guess. But yeah, that's it.
Well, I'll see if I can make it work.
People in the chat are worried. Is it going to be fully 8 minutes, or are you going to do a compacted version?
No. We can't do it. It's like a solo and a whole
Oh, damn it. Keep on putting up my own.
In the evening, when the day is done, I'm looking for illustration gigs. Oh, but the panels don't come. So don't let them play you for a fool. Comic books don't show no pity, baby. Oh, they don't make no rules. Oh, I need some luck. A bit of Marvel luck. Oh, I need some luck. I just gotta have. So don't you let it mess up the ink. It's only pencil and paper from the day that you begin. Just another single dude going to Disney World. Don't ask for nobody's help. Not everybody can be Stanley. You can only blame yourself. luck. I'm out of luck here. Yeah, I gotta need some luck. Oh, it's so simple. All the pain you go through, the fire and the Dave Matthews CDs. That roommate was really bad to you. Hey, it's lonely in the gutters. The Corvette is waiting at the top. But you're standing in the middle, baby. Ain't no way you're gonna stop. I think that's about all I got there.
Oh, dude, that was amazing.
I tried.
Yeah. That's great.
Did that feel like you, Joe? I think.
Oh, yeah, that was fan. I mean, you want to talk about in awe of somebody being able to create something, to be able to conjure all that in that time is amazing. That's stellar.
I had 5 minutes, I guess. Yeah.
Dude, you did it amazing. Do not beat yourself up. Was an impressive feat.
I was expecting him to be like, everybody, like the time of my life, Bill, something like New York State of Mind, and it's like this, 8-minute long Zeppelin jam, which is that doesn't rhyme, and I was like, okay, we could do this.
But this is great. We're playing around with trying to maybe make this one of the shows on the Friend Zone channel at one point, just kind of give people the song of their life, and I feel like this is like a good test run of it. We'll kind of play around with it and tell you when we'll try it again. But this is Julian. Very impressed with that. Joe, thank you for being on here, man. That was awesome.
Joe.
Sure.
Good to meet you, man.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Good luck
thank
with
you,
the
Joe.
art and
Thank you.
And Julian, I know you're going to get set up because you're going to go over and start broadcasting.
Thanks,
yeah,
guys,
we'll raid you over there. We'll raid you at the end
see
of
you,
our
buddy. We'll raid you in just a
best.
second.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. All right.
Bye-bye. That was impressive. I mean, that was impressive.
Super cool. I am always impressed by music. Like, I don't have any musical ability, and it's like the one thing where I'm like, what? It's like a magic trick that I can't figure out.
But what I'll say about that too is it's a magic trick, and he's not being funny. Like, I feel like that. Like, I used to do this like improv like blues thing. Like, I got the subway blues. I got
We're gonna do a whole night of that, buddy. We're gonna do you improvising blues songs.
But it's like that was like, it's easy because you're making rhymes and doing dumb stuff. Like, he actually, I feel like, put some real thought in like creating like a kind of a real song,
a cohesive story.
Yeah, that actually like it wasn't just dumb rhymes.
Yeah.
Rob, I know I've teased this throughout the show that I was going to show the thing I'm embarrassed by. I want people to know that we've raised $1,706 right now, which is great. You can donate on the Tiltify page right now. Some other
and can you see the link? Everybody can see the link?
Yeah, it's popping up in the chat right now. All right, so Rob,
everybody loves me over on the left side. By the way, people love this positioning.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that
now,
you're on the left and I'm on the right. Well,
yeah. People just say this feels better to them. It feels more like I should be in control, and you should sort of just pop on every now and then for like a blues song or something. I'm just reading the chat. That's just what the chat says.
All right, well, it's very specific in the chat. All right, well, look, can we talk about it offline, please? Just all right. So, Rob, I want to explain what you're going to see here. All right, so.
Do I know what this is? Have I seen it?
No one has seen this. No one has seen this. I just got this transferred recently. All right.
Oh my God.
So, starting off in New York City, wanting to like perform, be involved in things. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get in. I didn't have an agent. I wasn't booking commercials. I was far from it. And I got this call. It would pay like $100 a day if I was to sit in a cafe, a fake cafe, and it was the setting for two hosts who would watch Love Connection and People's Court. So every day, it was like a live thing on USA TV. It would air from like 10 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, and they would do wraparounds for those two shows. They'd play 4 episodes. So we would get there at 8 in the morning. They would load us in. And
what were the shows that you would watch?
Love Connection and People's Court. And then they would interview people in between it.
What?
It was wild. And it was called USA Live. And I was so psyched to be on live TV. And I was like, if they're going to cut to me, it's going to be good. And I started going through these just before we started the show tonight. And Okay, maybe what I will do is play it and see if you can spot me, and then I'll show you exactly where I
Wait,
am.
you're not the host of it?
No, Rob, I was showing up to be a patron in the cafe. You'll see what I mean.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
so you will
I thought
see.
you were like, okay.
Oh, no. All right, here. All right, so this is kind of the setup. Right,
Oh
there it
my
is.
God.
So all these people here, extras, all of us extras, you know, and we would show up and look like we're in a cool New York City diner watching Love Connection and rapping about it. And they were like, look, you have to be prepared. That host can go to you at any moment. Like, you have to be prepared to, you know, be watching the Love Connection intently. So here we go.
Bisexual, and I'm not judging. I mean, it's okay.
Oh, we can't hear it.
Am I going to boost it up? Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Bob from Pennsylvania is on the line. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Jim?
Good, thanks. Go ahead with your question.
Just give it a second.
I was wondering, I've been dating this lady for like 3 years.
Do you see me? There I am. That's me. That's me right there, intently listening. This is my great extra work.
Dude, can I tell you something that I know this host?
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, get this.
We'll talk about it offline.
All right.
Anything I gave her was
Drinking, casual, nothing in the cups. They would never give us coffee or water.
I turn around, she wants like
So excited that I saved this.
quarter-carat diamond that.
Get reactions.
And I'm trying to build
Doing
a
some
house
business.
for both
Oh,
of us.
putting some sugar in the
I can't
coffee.
seem to make her understand that I need all the money I have to put into the house.
Look, I'm doing a lot of work. This guy who we were not allowed to ever speak.
Drive me bankrupt.
And then
Well, darling, you know what I
laughing.
think you should do? You should let girlfriend know there is no more money for jewelry.
La-
Sign it and say,
This is-
we're building the house.
Drinking,
here, so
drinking,
the
using the
jewelry
mug.
will come later on after the house is built.
Yeah, I'm
Very
agreeing.
important
Like,
too.
this is the saddest thing that I would then show my parents. Like,
Yeah.
I made it. I made it.
You did it.
I
You
did
did
it. Like,
it.
look at this. So sad. So sad. Essentially in a Blockbuster uniform. Like, that was the nicest clothes that I had to hang out there. I mean, this is
That
sad.
is so awesome. I haven't seen full head of hair Scheer in a long time.
Oh my God, I'm not even realizing that either. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, full head of hair,
Yeah.
sitting there, and so psyched. And I just love that I saved it. I love that I knew I was on camera trying to play to it. I remember being upset that like I didn't drink coffee and they didn't give us anything to drink and we couldn't go to the bathroom. But I was like, I really took it on myself to be like, I am creating this vibe. I am here, and
Yeah.
this is I can't wait to hear the offline story of this guy.
Oh yeah, that guy is the ex-husband of someone that you know, and I'll tell you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I will tell you this. There are many episodes of this. I found like 4 of them today that I am and I saved every single one, and they never came to me. They never spoke to me. I never had a line on camera, but I was always believed that they were at any moment they could. They weren't.
And
They
how
never.
much money do you remember about how much you got paid?
Like $100, like $150 at
yeah.
the most, and you could get like a pack, like a snack pack of Oreos.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
like you are, when you're starting out, like everyone does stuff like that. It's like, $100 to like sit there. Like I'd fucking do that.
Well, Rob, this has been a fun. Look, I think we came into this, pretty heavy at the top, and I think glad that we did. And but I'm actually glad that we raised some money here. And
I'm glad we have this space to goof around and to talk to people and to do a show. And it's fun just to hang out with people. Like was this our most comedy packed show? No. And it shouldn't be. So, but yeah, it's fun to hang out with people and definitely like fun just to see people.
And I'm just going to show the final total here. We're at $1,806.69. I appreciate whoever donated the 69 cents. That's solid comedy donation.
Comedy donation.
But we will keep on going. Like, this is not going to shut down. So if you haven't done it yet, I'll remind people that the movie I'm in, Happily, I won't play the trailer, but the movie I'm in, it comes out tomorrow, Happily. Check it out. With
I can't wait to see it.
Charlene Yee is in it. John Daly's in it. Carrie Bechet, Shannon Woodward, everybody that you know, great Natalie Morales. This is a blast, and I think we should rate our friend Julian, who is.
Let's rate Julian. Yeah, I'm doing his show sometime. I think maybe next week I might be doing his show.
He is so much fun. He's been doing these piano bars, and they are just he's super talented, and he actually does a great thing. David Wayne, by the way, has been here every Monday night doing his piano bar, which
Yeah,
is very
I see, yeah.
different, a very different vibe. And thank you all for being with us. And like Rob said, I'm just echoing what Rob said. It's really nice to have this community and people willing to go along with us to have those conversations and make space for it. I mean, that's the cool, rare thing about all this. So
No doubt. No doubt.
all right, I'm gonna raid Julian.
Okay, buddy.
Right now. All
Great
right,
to
see
see
later,
you.
buddy.
Thanks,
See you later.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you guys.